G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Today I'm going to have a look at Quantum Eraser. Look, I know he's long and thin, but he is certainly green.
The argument isn't in regards to the oil platforms. This one, or their boat.
It is so funny that the state of flat Earth is so wanting, so desperate at the moment, that this little piece of, well, frankly, word salad with cucumber dressing has enough science words in it that the average FE attaboy is just lapping it up without actually showing any sort of understanding at all. In reality, all you guys have here is, even if we debunk nothing at all, it's just a classic, we see a tiny bit too far proof. Well, you haven't broken the globe at all. At the very best, you may be able to say that R is inaccurate. Anyway, no matter. All aboard the FE Titanic. Tie yourselves to your favourite deck chairs, guys, because QE is steering, and let's see where this ends up.
Right? The argument is solely the horizon behind the second platform, which everyone can see. I don't care if there's a Chinese Superman on a hobbled refracted unicorn wearing a tutu on these platforms. Don't care. That's not the argument. If you bring it up, it's a red herring fallacy. That is a diversion or irrelevant.
Look, if he thinks that science runs like he suggests, he's really got no idea. The fact that he thinks he can tell you what to look at. He's never had peer reviewers look over his scientific papers, has he? And you try telling them what not look at, and that's exactly what they will look at. QE gave away the whole game right at that moment where he said, no, you can't look at this, just like a 4-year-old caught stealing the cookies. Well, I didn't take the cookies and you won't find any under my bed. And QE, your modus tollens, it only works on a spherical ball in a vacuum, mate.
Here is the actual argument. Modus tollens. Holy shnikes, this is going to leave a mark.
Gonna hurt, you reckon, QE? Okay, take your best shot. Is that it? Is that all you got? Okay, then.
If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. Listen closely to the argument, globies. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, P, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's Q. That's the geometric horizon.
Now this is the point where he pulls a Pookie cigarette lighter switcheroo. Up to this point, QE is talking about geometric or theoretical horizon, but we would only see this if the atmospheric refraction was 0, which is frankly quite unlikely.
Not Q, because the horizon distance is greater than 9.41 miles. Therefore not P. The Earth is not a sphere.
QE keeps getting geometric and apparent confused. I guess it'll take him about 9 months before he realises the mistake he's making. And if you've been watching Blue Marble Science, he's been holding QE's feet to the fire on that point many a times. Well done, mate.
The ball-tard spinning space monkey community, please allow me to introduce to you your black plague, the black swan. There it is. Bye-bye, ball.
And QE, did you not stop to think for a second that what if the ballers flip this modus tollens around, as in P, flat Earth states that the Earth is literally flat. Then follows Q that the distance to the horizon is very far and we will never see a clear horizon edge. You can see where this is going, can't you? Whoopsie. 8, give him a soft slap, will ya? Well, it's impossible on a flat Earth, you mean? Well, think about it. The apparent horizon is too low and too clear. I guess if you had have watched Miles Davis, you would have already seen that.
Looming, the apparent appearance above the horizon of a distant object that would normally be hidden below it. So guess what? The friggin' horizon doesn't ever loom. Ever, ever, ever.
Well, of course you can raise the apparent horizon. Just check out Harry in Sydney, the fresh look at truth guy. He has a fixed viewing position, and he has some markers that he likes to use at 1 and 3 miles. Now, the apparent horizon does change position, as well as the ships beyond that horizon. So let's have a look at a day with normal atmospherics and compare that to a day with, say, very high refractive conditions. Hey QE, what if I could show you definitively that horizon does change vertical position, or looming? Oopsies, that was easy, barely an inconvenience. There goes the looming proof. So I guess looming is right back in play again, right? Tight. Oh dear QE, that's got to hurt, hasn't it, eh? Look, no matter how much you squeak and carry on, mate, it doesn't change science. Refraction, you can see it on the tower. Everybody sees it, except you want to deny it. Horizon can be loomed up too, hey mate? I mean, the kicker for QE here is that he has gone to absolutely so much effort to remove refraction from out of play that it is just so telling he knows refraction is the one thing that is killing everything he's doing here, because he hasn't allowed for it.
Right? The argument is solely the horizon behind the second platform, which everyone can see.
Which one? Would the real horizon please stand up? I grabbed an image I saw, and with my averted gaze, I saw a few things, like 6 possible horizon candidates. Just fiddling with the light levels, and we can see for ourselves. Look, there's a middle band here is even thicker on the left. Then there's this little black duck, Swan. This is by Wolfie6020, the wrecker of all things that you hold dear, guys. Well, the funny thing happened on the way to Hawaii. I suggest you watch it, if you're game. Well, here is the things you're going to see. Wolfie, pilot extraordinaire, is flying over the Pacific. He's at cruising speed and cruising altitude of 41,000 feet. Now, on the instruments, he points out that there's an oncoming plane. It means a plane coming straight towards you, and it's 1,000 feet lower. Then he can show that on the instrumentation. We know the instrumentation works because they don't crash and burn. So he can see that the plane is 20 to 25 nautical miles in front. So if we work with 20 nautical miles and 6,076 feet per nautical mile, that's 121,520 feet. For a 1,000 feet drop, that's a downward angle of 0.47 degrees. So yeah, have a look at this video. So how about we try that with Walter Bisland's Earth Curve calculator? Oh, look how well that matches what we just saw on the video. So the plane is at the top of the column on Walter Bisland's, and look what happens as Wolfie, thanks mate for doing this for me, moves the slider and simulates the plane approaching. And as it approaches, the plane drops below us and the horizon, as it must do. Well, what does this black swan show us? It shows us, inarguably, the horizon does not rise to eye level, certainly not when your eye is level at 41,000 feet. It also shows us that the horizon is unaffected by refraction at this height, and it also shows us that Walter Bisland's Earth Curve calculator is once again infallible, matching reality perfectly. Sorry about all this, QE, it's getting a little bit long and complex for you, isn't it, mate?
And this clip was taken a short time later as the sun was rising. Firstly, you can notice the Earth's shadow on the left-hand side. Then I pan to the right and we can see the tip of the sun appearing on the horizon. And through the shade, it is more clearly defined. I then show you that the aircraft is absolutely flying wings level. We don't have any angle of bank. And then that the sun's rays are absolutely angled upwards as they come into the aircraft, and that is confirming that the position of the sun is below horizontal to the aircraft, once again proving that the horizon did not rise to eye level.
Oh, and QE, if you think that this is a limit of vision thing, just have a look at that sun poking over the top of the horizon there too. That's a bit of a slap in the face for you, isn't it? Well, if you like what I've done here, how about you give me a click and subscribe and we can go and chase me around the mulberry bush a little bit more. Thanks, guys. Please note that all slaps given to QE in this video are just metaphorical and are only meant to be slaps to his ideology and his flat earth fantasy. In no way should anyone waste any effort actually on any sort of physical harm on these guys. It's just not worth it.